In this video, I'm going to explain to you the story that encouraged me to add Zamzam water to these roses. And then I'm going to explain the miraculous story of Zamzam. And finally, I'm going to explain to you why Zamzam water is different from any other water in the world. So what made me add Zamzam water to these roses was this. When I was a child, around 11 years old, my family and I used to live in England. We had just moved to a new house, and that new house had a front, side, and back garden. The house had been empty for years, so the garden was completely neglected. So after we finished working on the interior of the house and moved in, we finally had time to work on the garden. So we went to the hardware store and got some gardening tools, from the spade to the rake to the lawnmower and everything in between. We basically prepared ourselves for this big project. In the next few weeks and months, everyone in the family was involved in the gardening project. We pulled out the weeds, we cut down the dead branches, cleaned up everything and filled up bags and bags of garden waste. And from our windows, we would see the neighbors stopping by, observing the progress. And as we were working in the garden, some of them would just stop by, give us encouraging words, or give us some gardening advice. On one of the days, our elderly neighbor, who had one of the prettiest gardens on the street, came and offered to give us a strawberry plant. Now, this neighbor was a plant expert. He actually took the strawberry plant from his own garden, and in his garden, he had a various number of plants, and he knew what each one of them needed for it to thrive. So we planted the strawberry in our garden and hoped for the best. About 2 weeks later, we noticed that same elderly neighbor going back and forth in front of our garden. And then he asked us, "How is your strawberry plant still alive when mine died?" Now, we took care of this plant just like we did to all the other plants, except for this one, my mom added Zamzam water. Now, at the time, my dad used to travel back and forth, and every time he would come, he would get Zamzam water. So my mom had some left over from the previous travel, so she thought she'd put the old Zamzam water out for the strawberry plant and keep the fresh and new one for us. Now, this elderly neighbor was Buddhist, but he was generally surprised. And honestly, seeing those strawberries grow felt really special, especially because this was during some of the coldest days of the year. Now, I am aware that not everyone is familiar with what Zamzam water is, so I'm going to give a bit of an overview about it. So in the Islamic belief, Prophet Abraham was commanded by God to leave his wife Hajar and his son Ismail in the empty desert of Mecca. This was not Prophet Abraham's decision, but it was a test by God. Now at that time, Hajar and her son baby Ismail had only a small supply of water. The desert was empty, it had no people, and there was no supply of food and water. After that small supply of water ran out, baby Ismail began to cry from thirst, and his mom, out of desperation, ran 7 times between the hills searching for water or for help. Now, the reason she went 7 times is because she would see a mirage on the other hill, and so she would run towards it thinking that there would be water supply. When she would get to the other side, she would see that there was no water, and then she would see the mirage on the other hill, and that's why she went 7 times between Safa and Marwa back and forth. Now that was until Angel Gabriel struck the ground near her and water began to come from the earth. Now as Sitna Hajar or Lady Hajar saw it, she tried to contain it with her hands. And as she's gathering the sand around it to stop it from spreading, she would say the word Zam, and Zam means stop. So she would say stop, stop, or Zam to stop the water from spreading so she could hold the water in her hands and give water to her child to drink. And baby Ismail did drink, and so did millions of people after that. Now, if you were to ask what makes Zamzam so special, it is that this spring, by God's will, continues to flow until today. It has not dried up, and it is in one of the hottest desert climates in the world, which is the Arabian Desert region, where there is very little rain and extreme intense sun. Another thing that makes it special is that it's only a few meters from the Kaaba, keeping in mind Kaaba is one of the most sacred sites in Islam. So it is considered blessed in Islam, and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The water of Zamzam is for what it is drunk for." It emphasizes that the blessing of Zamzam isn't just in the water itself. Zamzam water responds to your intention, so whatever you drink it for. So whether you drink it for health or sustenance, relief, or a personal need, it can benefit you for that specific purpose. You just have to put that intention when you drink it. On a side note, I also want to shed light that inside Al-Haram, the legacy of Prophet Abraham, Hajar, and their son Ismail lives on through the sacred places connected to them. So for Prophet Abraham, there is Maqam Abraham. For Hajar, there is Safa and Marwa. And for Ismail, there is the area beside the Kaaba known as Hijr Ismail, and also the story of Zamzam. If you've reached this far in the video and you found some benefit from it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the next video, I'll be showing you the results of the roses after I've added Zamzam to them. I'm also going to be explaining the scientific properties of Zamzam water. So until then, take care and God bless.